Most people think wealth building is just about making more money. So they grind for promotions, they start side hustles, they watch investing videos, and they try to save more. And somehow, they still feel financially stuck. Meanwhile, someone else making the exact same salary quietly builds real wealth over 10 or 15 years. And here's the crazy part. It usually has nothing to do with intelligence. It's because wealth building happens in stages. And if you don't understand what stage you're in, you end up using the wrong strategy for your situation. It's like trying to use advanced investing tactics when you still have spending habits that are quietly destroying your future. Or obsessing over passive income before you even have financial stability. Here's what most people don't realize. Every wealthy person you admire probably went through the same 4 stages. But almost nobody talks about them because social media skips straight to the final result. You see the millionaire. You don't see the years of boring decisions that created them. And honestly, that misunderstanding is keeping a lot of people broke far longer than they need to be. My name is Leonard, and I spend way too much time thinking about the 4 stages of wealth building nobody talks about. If you're someone who feels like you're working hard, but your bank account never seems to reflect it, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Okay, so let's start with stage 1. And this stage is uncomfortable because almost everyone goes through it. It's called financial survival. This is the stage where your entire financial life is reactive. You get paid and immediately start calculating which bills need attention first. You're not thinking about investing. You're not thinking about retirement. You're thinking about surviving the month. And look, this stage is emotionally exhausting because your brain literally changes under financial stress. According to research published by Princeton University, financial scarcity can temporarily reduce cognitive performance by the equivalent of losing an entire night of sleep. Think about that. People in survival mode are often judged as bad with money, when in reality their brain is operating under constant stress pressure. This is why people overspend, avoid checking bank accounts, or make emotional financial decisions. Their nervous system is trying to escape discomfort. Now you might be thinking, okay, Leonard, but if I'm barely surviving, how am I supposed to build wealth? Here's the thing. At this stage, wealth building is not about investing. It's about stability. That means building a small emergency fund, eliminating high-interest debt, creating predictable cash flow, reducing financial chaos. That's it. Because if your financial foundation is unstable, every setback becomes a crisis. Let me show you what I mean. Imagine someone earning $3,500 per month. They have $6,000 in credit card debt at 25% interest, no emergency fund, constant overdraft fees, random impulse spending. Even if they invest $200 a month into the stock market, mathematically, they're probably losing ground. Because that credit card interest is growing faster than most investments. A 25% interest rate is basically financial quicksand. So stage 1 is about stopping the bleeding. And honestly, this is where most people stay stuck for years because they underestimate how much psychology affects money. People use spending to reward themselves, to feel successful, to reduce stress, to impress people, which leads us to stage 2. Financial control. This is where your money finally stops controlling you. And this stage feels amazing because for the first time you realize, oh, I actually have margin now. You're no longer panicking every time an unexpected expense shows up. You've built an emergency fund. Your debt is manageable or gone. You're spending intentionally instead of emotionally. But here's where it gets really interesting. Most people think this stage is about budgeting. It's not. It's about identity, because once you stop living paycheck to paycheck, you face a completely different challenge: lifestyle inflation. And this is the silent killer of wealth. Every time income increases, lifestyle quietly expands to consume it. You get the raise. Then suddenly, the apartment gets upgraded. The car payment increases. Subscription services multiply. Vacations become more expensive, and somehow, you still feel broke making twice as much money. According to a study from Lending Club, a surprisingly high percentage of six-figure earners still live paycheck to paycheck. That should terrify people, because it proves income alone does not create wealth. The gap between what you earn and what you keep creates wealth. Here's a simple example. Person A earns $60,000 and saves 20%. Person B earns $120,000 and saves 5%. Who becomes wealthy faster? Probably person A, because wealth is built through ownership, not appearances. And this is why Stage 2 matters so much. This is where habits become systems. Automatic investing, automatic savings, controlled spending, intentional lifestyle choices. At this point, you stop relying on motivation. Because motivation disappears, systems are what actually build wealth. Now, Stage 3 is where things start compounding in a way that feels almost unfair. This stage is called wealth acceleration. And this is the stage social media pretends happens overnight. It doesn't. Usually, this stage comes after years of consistency. Here's what most people don't realize about investing. The beginning feels painfully slow. For example, if you invest $500 a month with an average 8% annual return, after 5 years, you'd have roughly $36,000 invested. Sounds decent. But after 20 years, you'd have around $295,000. And after 30 years, over $745,000. This is where compound growth becomes insane, because eventually your money starts earning more money than your actual labor. And psychologically, this changes everything. You stop feeling trapped. Your investments begin creating momentum. This is why wealthy people become obsessed with assets, because assets buy freedom. Now look, this stage is also where people make dangerous mistakes. They get impatient. They chase crypto hype, risky trading, get-rich-quick schemes, because slow wealth building feels boring. But boring is usually what works. The S&P 500 has historically returned roughly 10% annually over long periods. Meanwhile, most day traders underperform the market, not because they're stupid, because emotions destroy consistency, fear, greed, impatience. Wealth building is often more about behavior management than financial intelligence. And finally, we reach Stage 4, financial independence. And no, this doesn't necessarily mean private jets and Lamborghinis. Honestly, I think social media completely distorted what wealth actually looks like. Real wealth is control over your time. That's it. It's waking up without financial panic. It's being able to leave toxic jobs. It's having choices. This is where passive income from investments, businesses, or assets begins covering a meaningful percentage of your living expenses. And this is where people suddenly realize something shocking. The goal was never money itself. The goal was freedom. Freedom to spend time with family. Freedom to work because you want to. Freedom to handle emergencies without fear. And ironically, by the time people reach this stage, many stop caring about impressing others, because they finally understand something most people never learn. Looking wealthy and being wealthy are completely different games. The person driving the luxury car might be drowning in debt. The quiet person investing consistently for 20 years might be financially free. And that's why understanding these stages matters so much, because each stage requires different behaviors. In Stage 1, focus on stability. In Stage 2, focus on systems and discipline. In Stage 3, focus on consistency and ownership. In Stage 4, focus on protecting freedom. Look, nobody masters money overnight, and honestly, most financial advice fails because it gives Stage 4 strategies to people still in Stage 1. That's like teaching someone advanced bodybuilding techniques before they've learned how to walk into a gym consistently. Start with the stage you're actually in. That's how real progress happens. Because wealth building is not one giant breakthrough moment. It's a series of smaller decisions repeated for years. And yeah, That sounds less exciting than how I made $1 million in 12 months. But it's also the truth, and the truth is what actually changes lives. If you made it this far, comment which stage you think you're currently in. I read a lot more comments than you probably think. And if this video helped shift how you think about money, hit subscribe because that's exactly what this channel is about. I'll see you in the next one.